Hidden within Altdorf, far from the prying eyes of the mortal world, is the Pyramid of Light, the beating heart of the White Order. Deep within its vaults, the elven mage Teclis created a prison for chaotic artifacts left over from the Great War, and for centuries, the Hierophants of Hysh have watched over the abominations that dwelt within. But in recent months, the wards guarding the darkest secrets in the Empire have come undone, one by one, and the Tree of Learning has grown rank with corruption. So Alberich von Korden, the vampire hunter, has returned from Sylvania to root out the source of this heresy. Bearing the white ring of Tempelhof, he is a rarity amongst witch hunters in that he can actually harness light magic itself, although it is purity of will that grants him this boon, rather than any innate ability to control the ether. They are two sides of the same coin, light wizards and witch hunters, both devoted to casting out the demons and spirits that plague the minds of men, but where the Templars of Sigmar will slay and burn the guilty without mercy, and frequently, the innocent too, the Hierophants of the Serpent seek only to destroy the darkness within, saving body, mind, and soul when possible. But as storm clouds gather over the Altdorf colleges of magic, a wave of madness threatens to grip the Imperial defenders. The Changer of Ways has come. It was the greatest betrayal in the history of the Light Order when the arch-traitor Egrimm van Horstmann broke into the vaults deep beneath the colleges of magic. Considered by many as the brightest star to ever grace the halls of the Light Order, no one had any cause to doubt his loyalties as he knelt to swear allegiance to the supreme patriarch of the colleges of magic. And yet the winds of change were already blowing in his cold, dead heart, and his soul belonged to a far more sinister master. By day, he studied the Serpent of Light, and by night, the demons of Tzeentch nibbled at the edge of his sanity. For years, the wicked sorcerer worked his evil from within the pyramid of his order, sowing the seeds of corruption that would sunder the Imperial colleges forever. Using the energies of the college itself, he redirected the flow of magics far beneath the earth, and it was there that Egrimm von Horstmann found Baldros, the infamous Chaos Dragon, and unleashed him upon the world. Flying north to the Chaos Wastes, Horstmann and his corrupted apprentices formed the Cabal, a cult dedicated solely to his patron god Tzeentch, and he has returned to finish what he started, to forge this blasphemous sect anew upon the ruins of a place he once called home. And with a terrifying force at his beck and call, he might just get his wish. But in the holy light cast by the pyramid itself, a change is overcoming the Empire defenders. Their clouded minds purged of fear, their limbs given strength anew, their speed amplified, and a new wave of hope swelling from within. A chance to rid the world of the arch-traitor forever. They will never get a better opportunity. And so the Empire holds as the fury of Egrimm von Horstmann descends upon the Pyramid of Light, and the wizards he once called kin prepare to banish him back to the Chaos Wastes. Reminds me of Horus in a lot of ways, honestly. There's a reason they're both called arch-traitors, and unlike Archaon, he actually embraces chaos to its very core. His story was the foundation for the Warhammer 1 announcement cinematic. Coolest Easter egg we've had in the trilogy thus far, bar none, and it happened on day one. It'd be a very, very worthy addition for the Warriors of Tzeentch in Game 3, but in the meantime, we have Mixu's glorious legendary Lords mods to keep us company. And the assault on the College of Light map by Scissorts, which is just about the perfect setting for a battle like this one. Absolutely gorgeous, massive, and it's gonna be a super difficult battle too, because despite that advantage in positioning, the Empire is massively outnumbered by 7,000 warriors and monsters of the Cabal, and only faith, steel, gunpowder, and a healthy dose of light magic will be enough to turn the tides here. Strap in, boys! The survival battle is going to go right down to the bitter end. More than 10,000 troops on the field, and we're in the laboratory, so you know it's going to be a good time. And Forsaken are going to get on the business end of those Hellblaster volley guns real early on in the battle and get turned into mush, because there's nothing for it. There's really nothing they can do except run in and die. There's going to be a pretty obscene amount of firepower arcing their direction in the opening stages of this battle. And Egrimm von Horstmann and Baldros, that Chaos Dragon, about to let it rip into the Empire Swordsman. We have double the unit sizes for all units on the field right now, so the Swordsmen and all these Chaos Warriors and Chosen will have a ton of models per unit, and that strawberry milkshake breath is going to carve a path, and Baldros and Egrimm going to go right into melee and get things kicked off here. And it's going to be really brutal for these Empire State troops in the front ranks. Baldros is going to kick some serious ass, and we've done a little bit of fiddling with the mass and stuff, so you won't see people go flying across the map, but there's a little bit more oomph, a little bit more impact when you see him smack that tail around. And with the weird spawn charging in right behind him, things are going to get very bloody for the Empire State troops in the front ranks. Now we have Halberdiers and Alberich von Korden right behind, supporting for the moment. Steam Tank and Luminarchs of Hysh on both flanks, doing a lot of damage already to this incoming Chaos Horde. And of course the stairs, that choke point, is going to be incredibly important here if the Empire wants to hold out. This is going to be incredibly tough, and the cool thing about this map is that the AI will actually use the flanking avenues to get into the main plaza. They're not going to just bunch up right at the front. We're going to use some Empire Light Wizards to maybe do some banishing in the middle of these gigantic hordes. Some big vortexes are going to be very necessary if we want to hold back the tides. But meanwhile, Chosen and Giants are going to be coming around the flanks, and we've got a lot of threats to deal with on all three sides of this plaza, while the Knights of the Blazing Sun will be all the way in the back, waiting in reserve, ready to charge in at a moment's notice when things start getting very hairy. Speaking of hairy, that reminds me, I don't understand why we don't have a Harry Potter and the Chaos Waste movie yet. I want to see Mr. Potter embrace the primordial truth. I want to see him become a student at Tzeentch's School of Witchcraft and Heresy, maybe suck the souls out of some unfortunate first years, train a Manticore, read the Liber Chaotica, get down and dirty with some Sineshi cultists, all that good stuff. It'd be a pretty good time. You're a heretic, Harry. It's a movie I'd watch for sure. I don't know why that hasn't been made yet. Hollywood needs to get on that. I would definitely watch. I think you guys probably would too. Be a good time. By the way, you might hear a couple audio glitches in the opening stages of this battle. They will disappear very soon. There are just so many troops on the field right now. Warhammer 2 isn't super happy about it, but all things considered, FPS is looking pretty damn good, considering how much is going on right now. Big banishment gonna make a lot of those guys on the right flank feel pretty bad about themselves, getting banished back into the warp, and just causing a lot of damage. But that front line is already beginning to crumble. Obviously, the Chaos Forces have pushed really hard in the center. The flanks have not kind of collapsed in quite yet. Not the most organized assault. Tzeentch, well, he's the changer of ways. He does things the way he wants to do them. They might look a little bit bizarre. Might be, well, like, what are you doing strategically? That doesn't make any sense. Tzeentch always has a plan. So he'll be coming in, collapsing on both flanks very shortly, and some handguns. The Luminarch and Steam Tank will be ready for that. But in the center, things are already getting very scary for the Empire defenders. A couple of the units have already broken. Empire swordsmen did not hold out for very long, which isn't very surprising. Leadership has been buffed up in the laboratory so that my troops don't just insta-rout, and that means the Chaos Forces will also have those exact same leadership buffs. Giant coming in on the side, halberds are waiting for that, and handguns are ready as well. Now, handguns in this kind of situation are incredibly powerful because all ranks will fire, and their DPS, what they can unleash, is incredibly terrifying. Then of Amentot going down on the Giants, and that means that the Steam Tank and the handguns will be able to unleash some pretty devastating volleys into the flank of that big monstrosity. Egrimm van Horstmann and Baldros already going into the back line as the Giant picks up an unfortunate soul, bites his head off, tosses him to the ground. Halberds holding for now, and they'll be able to hold that side for a very long time. Very regimented, huge formation, and that Giant, he's only taken a couple volleys and already dropped down below half HP. And look at all that fire, just withering, murdering that poor dude. And I think he's gonna be feeling pretty holy in the light of Sigmar. Get it? Holy. Beautiful. Beautiful. Seriously, do you guys want to see me do some ASMR? I don't think anyone's ever done that in the history of YouTube. I don't think anyone has ever done Total War ASMR. I kind of made a meme about it in my last video, but I feel like it might be kind of fun. I don't even know if I have a setup. Like, binaural ASMR for Total War would be hilarious. Giant just got absolutely riggedy wrecked with a shot from the Luminarch of Hysh. Straight to the dome, straight to the ground. It's where you go and play up. And we're going to put some artillery crews back on the Hellblaster volley guns that were overrun by Egrimm, who's already taken a decent amount of damage, getting very aggressive. One thing I have noticed in these kind of situations, Chaos Lords, if you put them on a dragon or Kolek or whatever, any of the big monsters, AI really likes to get super aggressive with them. Kind of put them into precarious positions because it feels like, oh, I can take this fight. And they really can't. But that's not really going to matter here, honestly. Egrimm is taking a beating right now, handgun volleys. But even if he dies, leadership really is going to plummet for the Chaos Warriors because leadership is so jacked up right now. You can take a Soul Quench or a beautiful Shem's Burning Gaze and another Luminarch shot. And Egrimm van Horstmann, we hyped him up. Baldros and him have just plummeted to the earth. And they're dead. they're out of the fight. I mean, to be fair, he got like 240 kills in that very short time he was on the map. But he's gone now. That doesn't really matter. Like I said, the leadership thing is not going to be a big deal for Tzeentch, because all their troops right now have like 120 leadership. We have to kill them to a man, basically, to make them rout. And I like that, honestly. I prefer that, because if you get the chain routes from army losses and stuff super early on, it's very anticlimactic. That's the exact opposite of what we want to do here. We want to get epic charges like this one. Knights of the Blazing Sun right into the teeth of the Chaos attack, pulling them over. But they're going to start dropping like flies. Take a look at this HP bar on these Knights of the Blazing Sun, plummeting because they're up against Chosen and Halberds and... well, actually, there are no Halberds here, but it's all AP. Chosen Great Weapons and regular Chaos Warriors. Really going to chunk through them very quickly. And we are also using Ado's Tzeentch reskin for a little bit more flavor. So you definitely want to be checking that out if you've never seen it before. We've used it in plenty of videos before. If I'm using a chaotic faction in general, I want to be rocking them with their unique aesthetics. That's one of the reasons why I think Game 3 is going to be so amazing. Why I think Mono God units are going to be so amazing. Because they bring that extra level of flavor and versatility to the Chaos roster that they're kind of lacking right now. They're a little bit generic in the base game. But Marauders into the flank of the Halberds, and they're going to be holding on for dear life as the Pyramid of Light bays them in its beauteous ascendancy. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds good. It's provocative. It gets the people going. Witch Hunter, I almost said Witch Doctor, gonna run away from the Giant here. And Alberich von Korden needs to find a way to get into the flank and start casting stuff like that. That big banishment. He only has access to Shem's Burning Gaze and Faw's Protection, so he can't quite cast Vortexes, but a Shem's Burning Gaze into the flank of those huge Chaos armies can do a ton of damage. And the Steam Tank dropping dreams, dropping memes all over his opponents, bowling them over, and he's going to smash them into oblivion as they charge forward. And Steam Tank holding on for dear life as it's surrounded. Luminarch of Hysh, not a lot of ammo left, but the Hellblaster Volley Gun in a really good position to bring red ruin to the back ranks of those Chaos armies. And the weird spawn into the flank of the handgunners, they're going to start ripping stuff up as well. Not a unit you see very often in vanilla. Although, to be honest, this is, I guess, technically vanilla. We're not using any statistical mods here, but Weird Spawn is a unit that I feel like should be good, but maybe it's just the price. Maybe it's just the fact that Chaos Spawn are stupid and have no armor, so they die horribly in like every multiplayer situation ever. But yeah, you really don't see them very often in terms of their Regiments of Renown. Chaos has some of the best Regiments of Renown in the game, but you don't see that many of them. There are a handful that are really amazing. Weird Spawn are certainly not one of them. Handgun's getting some really good shots into the back of those Chaos Warriors. And over here, that inexorable tide, the doom tide of Tzeentch, continues to push forward. And the Knights of the Blazing Sun are just in there and holding on for dear life as they are surrounded and being cut to pieces. No opportunity to cycle charge here, because if they pull out, they're going to be running into the enemy. They're completely surrounded. So they will fight to the death as the Hellblaster volley guns and handguns continue to fire in. And those focal points that are emanating from the sides of the pyramid give us a little bit of defensive potential, which I haven't talked about, but we'll talk about that in a second. Another banishment going down, and that's going to do a lot of damage. So, one thing that's really cool about this map, or a laboratory or something, I don't even know what exactly is causing it right now, but some of the defenders are going to get defensive buffs that last for the entirety of the battle. And it seems like all the units that are getting close to the pyramid itself get those. Oh my god, beautiful shots. Armor-piercing shots, bisecting and decapitating the Chaos Warriors that charge in now. Bathe in ketchup. It won't be long for this world. Back ranks continue to fire, and they're getting scythed apart. Gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. But as the battle drags on, we're going to start noticing that some of these troops are getting stacking defensive bonuses that don't disappear, which was crazy. So very late on, there are handgunners with like 120 melee defense, and I didn't understand why it was happening. I couldn't figure it out because none of the options that I actually selected in the laboratory had anything to do with that. So the whole thing was very confusing, but it is going to make the last stand of the Empire more impressive as yet another... Oh my god. That's just mean. That was just mean. There was a unit there. Not anymore. Handguns kicking serious ass. But I thought it was incredibly cool. It was incredibly unintentional. I didn't mean to do it at all. But what's happening right now is these defenders, as they're getting closer to the pyramid, and the light magic that surrounds it starts to recognize that these Empire defenders are on the back foot and in danger of being completely overrun, destroyed, and dismembered in the name of Tzeentch. It's going to start kicking into high gear and start giving my troops buffs that they shouldn't really be getting in a normal situation. Sigmar is blessing us. The Order of Light is blessing us. The pyramid itself almost sentient in the way it's helping our defense right now. And I thought that was very cool. So there's a huge mass rout going on right now, and you think, oh, Chaos is just gonna lose, right? But no, we've got like 13 more minutes left in this replay or something. We've got a lot more time left. So this battle's far from over, but it's hard to know which way it's gonna swing. Right now, with the mass rout, you think that Empire has the advantage. But if you take a look at what's left of the Empire defenders, very few melee troops left on the field. Alberich von Korden down below half HP. Handguns about to run out of ammo. Cannons about to get overrun. Steam tank about to die. Things aren't actually looking that great if you ignore the balance bar for a second. But that Pyramid of Light and its defensive buffs will start really helping out as well as we get to a very depleted Empire garrison. Alberich von Korden gonna wade in. Now, he is a witch hunter that was moved to Sylvania basically because he was a gigantic dickhead in the Reichland. When he was back at home, he was burning tons of people alive for no reason other than, well, one heretic in the haystack is enough to turn the whole batch bad. Which it's right, it's correct to an extent. When you start burning children and their mothers for no reason other than you want to go on a power trip, that becomes an issue. So Karl Franz was like, get the hell out of Reichland, go to Sylvania where the line is a little bit more cut and dry between what's evil and what's not. You know a vampire when you see him. Usually, hopefully. A witch hunter should anyway. Steam Tank gonna go through and just bowl stuff over. And so once he was in Sylvania, he started realizing that he was much more cut out for life there. And he started talking about taking down a bunch of very important vampires. He took down 3 very early on, then said, I want to take on Manfred von Karstein. Don't actually know what happens to Alberich von Korden in the end times, if he's even talked about. But, I mean, if they forgot Skarsnik, I wouldn't be surprised if they forgot about a witch hunter that isn't exactly the most popular character in the setting. But Steam Tank getting completely surrounded here by Marauders and Chaos Warriors. Look at, oh my god. Linebacker sending them flying, but it will explode. And the steam is gone. It's gone. There's no coming back for the Steam Tank. And that is a big issue for the defenders here. Artillery has been overrun, had to actually abandon the cannons themselves and move away with the artillery crew to hopefully hold on later on. But these handguns, the only reason they're holding on right now, the only reason they're surviving is because they have like 80 melee defense for God knows what reason. I think that Fa's protection was like stacking up on top of them or something. But we will explain it lore-wise that the pyramid is just imbuing them with magical energies. And on the other side of the battlefield, we got Weird Spawn getting their claws, sinking their teeth into those Knights of the Blazing Sun. And they will die. Weird Spawn, I mean, they've got the Armor Sundering. Their DPS has never been in question. I've gotten charged with them that have taken like Harganeth Executioners down to half HP off the charge. It's just that what they do after that is usually not that impressive because they have no armor. That guy just went flying. I don't even know where the guy went. That poor knight, he just disappeared from my screen entirely. Went flying, and the rest of that unit will die, will perish. In the name of Myrmidia, rest in pieces, sweet princes. So Weird Spawn gonna clean that up over on that side of the battlefield. Chaos Warriors and Marauders chasing after some unfortunate halberds. And this is why I usually use the less blood, less gore mod. Although it does look, I mean, the way that Pyramid of Light is bathing everything, it kind of makes the blood look a little bit worse than it does normally. But yeah, everything is completely covered in ketchup right now. It's been a brutal torrent affair, no question about it. Fa's protection going down. And yeah, look at the stats on those handgunners. That's permanent now. That's permanent. So the only thing I can think of is that some variable that I don't know which one, but Flawless Protection was not disappearing, and so each time I cast it, it would stack successively, and I didn't use it at all in the opening stages of the battle. So the swordsmen and the great swords didn't get it, so they died normally. Right now, the handgunners are fighting like champions, but it's epic and kind of lore accurate, right? Like, truly, if you were to fight that close to the Pyramid of Light, the magic woven into its foundations would grant you power. Your entire perception of reality would change. Barona's time warp would probably kick in. Defenders would start fighting like madmen, gaining speed and strength, and the attackers would be sluggish and slow, and they are monsters of chaos. They would weaken in the holy radiance of the glorious Imperium. So, I love it. It was not intentional, but from a lore perspective, I'm digging it for sure. And it's making for an epic last stand, because this battle would already be over if we were not getting those bonuses. Alberich von Korden also getting those bonuses, up to like 130 melee defense or something stupid right now, holding on to an entire wing by himself, fighting like a god dang witch hunter like he should be. He's not gonna go down to Chaos Warriors, come on now. Chaos monsters, you gotta send them to the warp. You cannot be letting them walk all over our house and just stroll in like they own the place, right? Gotta hold the line for the Imperium. It's the only way. So the Luminarch of Hysh, the handgunners, they're holding. They're not gonna do any damage right now because they have no melee stats that are good. It's just melee defense. They're just holding on. And the balance bar is shifting in Chaos favor, but Tzeentch is still a long way from winning this battle. They have overrun the Hellstorm Rocket Battery crew though. Hellblaster Volley Gun rather. And we're gonna have to retreat them, because you don't want to let your artillery crew get killed, and that unit right there might be what turns this battle in our favor if we can get back on it and start firing in. Has an obscene amount of firepower that will really be useful here, and beautiful shot from Alberich von Korden, gonna take the head off one of those Chaos Warriors. Oh wow, yes indeed, Shem's Burning Gaze ripping through the center of their formation, and we're gonna get our crew back on the Hellblaster Volley Gun and start ripping into that big blob of Chaos Warriors that still exists. The entire plaza bathed in the blood of Chaos and the Empire of Man. It's just death. Death is everywhere. Tiny armies compared to what this battle started with. But still, they hold, even though they are surrounded. Fighting to the death, fighting as true Empire of the Men should, and they are biding time for that artillery to hopefully turn this fight in the Empire's favor. And they're opening up now. And it's gonna get brutal. It's gonna get nasty. It's gonna get mean. But if you want to beat Chaos, that's how you gotta do it. Beat them with artillery. Beat them with armor piercing. Shred them from the flank. And they are starting to drop like flies here. Dozens of models just popping. And I'm not gonna lie, I got so hype at this point. We are seeing one of the coolest last stands I've seen in a Total War game ever. I mean, talk about the scale of what we're seeing right now. How many troops were on the field at the start? More than 10,000. And mass rout about to kick in. Can the Empire do it? Can they kick the defenders out of the plaza, out of the Pyramid of Light, and defend the Colleges of Magic? Of course, Egrimm van Horstmann not going to get what he wants, because he won't be around to see it. He's dead. He's in the dirt now. But his Chaos Warriors could still see it through. They are going to charge into the flank of the Hellblaster Volley Gun. And the Witch Hunter Alberich von Korden coming back with that Ring of Tempelhof. Gonna channel some light magic, kick him out, start stabbing him. And you can actually equip him with a greatsword too. So he can actually get a bonus first. Actually, I think he retains that bonus first large, but he gets more weapon damage when he switches to the great weapon. But you lose the ranged weapon, which is like, you gotta have a ranged weapon when you use a Witch Hunter, right? And the Hellblaster Volley Gun is just carving a path through these attackers. So much routing right now. Unfortunately, we don't have any cav or any high mobility troops to actually run them down and prevent them from coming back. But it's dead even. 25 minutes in, we are dead even as the Chaos Warriors continue to try to push through and take down the Witch Hunter. He is making his last stand and he is just carving them up, holding on for dear life. But all those Chaos Warriors are coming back now. They're beginning to get back into the fight. The handgunners are no longer there. And at this point, there is no infantry left on the field for the Empire to hold on It's just Alberich von Korden, the Witch Hunter, and he's gonna rout. So disappointing to be that close to winning against such ridiculous odds. I mean, of course, we had the advantage and we're a real player against the AI, but look at the quality of that army. Chosen, all over, 3 Chaos Giants, bunch of Chaos Spawn, Forsaken, like their worst infantry, besides, like, not counting the Marauders, of course, because they're just chaff, but Chaos Warriors are an issue for every unit on my side of the field, and we managed to kill all of that, and then just at the very end, like 150, 200 that were left on the field for Chaos, managed to pull it out of their initial army of almost 7,000. I had so much fun with that battle. That was one of those survival battles that you just kind of look at and you're like, this is why the laboratory is awesome. I don't use it enough. I should use it more. I wish you could use it in multiplayer because it would make for such better cinematic battles and siege battles and stuff with your friends. It's annoying to me that they never added multiplayer functionality because I feel like that's where all the fun of minigames and that kind of thing would really come from. But still, even against the AI there, AI actually handled that pretty admirably. Of course, they made plenty of mistakes. They threw away Egrimm, but pretty cool attack. Managed to go in from all 3 sides, and we got to see the Empire, the last bastion at the Pyramid of Light, hold on for dear life and almost turn back the inexorable doomtide of chaos against Tzeentch. Really fun. Hope you guys enjoyed. See y'all later. Peace out.